Hi guys, and welcome back to the final part of the Tony Ray Hummingbird build. The end is within sight. Really enjoyed the build up to now, so let's finish off. Cheers. I'm just working my way down the bodywork here, guys. This little nail file is really doing a fantastic job. I'm trying to go around the corner a little bit so I don't end up with a little bit of white showing. If I do, it's not the end of the world. I can touch it in with a little bit of paint. Just sort of going down there and then giving it a little tug look. I'm an absolute convert now with this dope and thinners method of attaching tissue. It is so easy, so clean, and gives you such good results that, yeah, I don't think I should be using Pritt Stick again. I know I've had comments before from modelers saying, oh, they use this method, but until you actually see it, that you don't realise just how good it is. Yes, I could cut down here with a knife, but you get this lovely little fuzzy edge which blends in so beautifully with the fuselage. That a little white bit there, but generally it blends in so beautifully. I'll just run some thinners down there and it might pick up a little bit of dope. If it doesn't, I can run some dope down there. But look at that, how easy is that? These wrinkles will come out with water, I'm sure of it. But I cut it big because I thought I can go over halfway, but in fact I've gone over all the way. So all I've got to do now is this side bit. And when I come to cut the side piece, I'll just scrape up like that and it'll cut through this side panel. Then drop it down nicely. Again, the blocks have come in handy because I can put one of the wing joiners in between the blocks and another one in one of the holes, and there we are. I've got a working platform, nice and easy. Just thought I'd share that with you guys, share it. So I'm just going to go around here. I'll probably try and knife this because it just curls around the front into the cockpit and it's hidden. Again, if you didn't hear earlier on, these are called 321 blocks and they're bought from Amazon. They're engineering blocks. Now, can I go right over this edge? Will it shut down? I'll give it a go. I have a feeling I doped it, so we'll see if it sticks down. Doesn't stick down, it's because I didn't dope it. And I don't think I did. So what I can do, I can put a little bit of dope actually on there now, just to take it round the corner. I'm going to knife this because I don't want any bits of dust falling down into the cogs on the receiver, because they are very prone to getting choked up if you're not careful. Okay. I know some people like to do the fuselage in pieces, but I always think if you can get you know, if you can get more around you can get, the better. Save the join there. So what's next? Let's trim this back bit. So I'm going to cut that off all the way down to there. Okay, so I've finished the fuselage, and prior to spraying it with clear lacquer, I'm going to spray it with clear water, or water and lacquer. So I've sprayed the bottom, which tightened out a treat, so I'm now going to do the rest of it. Spray bottle. Just put down a sheet of paper there. Just a quick, very gentle. Something to be aware of when tissue is wet. It is very, very easily torn, so don't sort of be tempted to go touch it or anything. Just let it go. As you see, it's gone all saggy. That's fine. Just leave that for sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, and it'll tighten right out. We'll come back and have a look at that. In the meanwhile, I'm going to cover the hatch. This could be interesting. It will be interesting because that bit around the front is going to pucker all over the place. What if I should try and put a couple of darts in it? This tissue, I was thinking of doing it blue like the picture, but I haven't got any blue and I want to get on with it, so no time to order any. There's one of my, should be looking for that, one of your Whatcliffe, one of my small mounting screws. Okay. It's going to go on easily enough there, but around the front here it's going to be a little bit funny. So what I'm thinking is I might just put this on with dope. Let's just move that fuselage again. Might try putting it on with dope wet. So we'll see what happens. There's a brush there. Shall I use that one? Let's put that bit of paper back down. Because if it's wet, it might just go around the nose a little bit better. We'll see. Oh, that's a lot of dope. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spray that piece of tissue like that, just like that, you see, and we'll see what happens. Like I said just now, when tissue is wet, it's very easily torn. So, if I mess it up, I'll just pull it all off and start again. Trying to pull the wrinkles off of the balsa bit, but I'm not sure I'm succeeding really there. So not too bad. I mean, it'll do. Can't pull it, it'll just tear, so I'm just rolling and can use some thinners on it now, just to ease it around. Be very, very gentle with it. The thinner sorts of reactivates the dope a bit. I can hold on to the dashboard, look at that. I suppose actually I could make a cut along the join here and put a separate piece on there. That would go around really well. Yeah, we'll let that go for a minute. While that's drying, we can have a quick look. Let's just move this again. We can have a quick look at the fuselage. It's only been 5 minutes. Yeah, so it's dry and it's dried there. Look, it's still quite wet there in the panels. If you're not happy with the way it's tightened out, you just give it another spray. Just do that as many times as you want. It'll either sort itself out or it won't. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut around here, and I want to try and turn it around behind, inside, so as I don't see the edge of the bolster. I don't know if these originally had a little windshield. Be a nice little thing to put on if they did. Have to look into that. Right, should be able to turn this around, I think. Inside. That's not too bad at all, so put that on. No, I won't push my luck. I'll tell you what else needs to be red, and that's the fin and rudder. Which is the fin, there's the rudder, that's the elevators, there's the rudder. When the rudder's dry, then I can glue in the control horn, which I've yet to paint as well. So that needs to be, there's a little bit, look, the right size, it needs to be covered there. I forget, all these parts have been doped, so hopefully just by brushing around the outer edge it will reactivate the dope and instantly stick. Seems to be doing really well. Of course, if you can't get dope, I suppose you'd have to use an alternative. You can use watered down white glue as a tissue paste. And manufacturers make stuff suitable for sticking tissue down. It's half a rudder. Take a minute. I'm going to do the tailplane and elevators in. I'm going to try, the plan is to do it with white and then give it some sort of colour wash to enable it to appear silver. That would be pretty neat if I can. If you're enjoying the video, guys, and you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button, because you're going to miss out on some really great stuff, if I say so myself. When you spray a control surface, spray both sides if you can, because it's going to pull and warp it if you're not very, very careful. Okay, that's the rudder done. Put that to one side. I think you're getting the idea. Take your time. Enjoy the experience, really. Yes, it's a fairly light touch, but you know, a little bit of practice and you'll get there. And it's very satisfying. Been fairly busy. I've covered the ailerons. I've covered the tail surfaces. And this tissue isn't quite as absorbent as the red was, so it's a little bit crinkly. But what I've done, I've put a coat of dope around the outside edge and this edge, and I'm just going to put this on. I've put it on the aileron and that dry. I'm just wondering if I ought to try it wet, but perhaps not. Stick with what I'm doing. So, let's say it doesn't soak it up quite as rapidly. Actually, before I do that, I need to cut a slot there, don't I? Horn. It's not the horn, the servo control. Right, okay. I'll cut that bit tight there on the end, but we're still okay. Right, I've got dope on there, so I'll put that over there and that will lock that into place. So it sort of wrinkles and repels it a little bit. And the main part of this is that edge, which is doped, which I need to activate, which is not even touching at the moment. Once it's soaked through into the tissue, it's a little bit better, but even then I'm relying on pushing it down. In actual fact, I was going to get a piece of building board with a hole in it just so as I could sit this down, so I better go and do that very quickly, because I can't turn it over to work on it. So don't forget, this is just thinners I'm putting on to reactivate the dope underneath. Some tissue is a lot more porous than other sort of tissue, so this is not that porous, but it should be stronger because of the nature of the tissue. Okay, ready for the top surface. Now I've just gone around the edge again with some dope, so it'll reactivate really quickly. I've got a crease down through the middle of this piece. You can iron it out a bit. Let's go for it and turn it over that way actually. So I'm just going to lay that on. Make sure I'm covering everything. And have a go. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go to the front. Do that. Don't know if that's really going to work, but still. Yeah. I'll explain something to you in a minute. We just run some. A little bird outside. It's gone dusk. Lovely, lovely sound. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. So what do I want to explain? I don't want to stick the tissue down anywhere else but along the edge. I don't want it to stick down inside the rib. I don't want to say press there because it's going to have a flat bit, so it's just got to be right on the edge of the rib, and that's not easy when it's not actually touching the very leading edge. So it's sticking there now. Let me just have to just be patient. As I say, this isn't the best tissue. It's not actually sticking at all there. What I'm going to have to do is to do this possibly. Maybe I can turn it over and stick it on the bottom a little bit just to hold it if nothing else. While I've got it that way, let's just cut that corner out. Sometimes it's a good idea to put the wingtip piece on as a separate component, joined across the last rib, and it prevents any sort of funny wrinkles creeping in. It's not going too bad because it's quite a big wrinkle there. It's quite a big wingtip. If it was a lot closer and a lot steeper, you'd have problems. I'll try and bring this around the edge a bit. it's not usually this tricky. This tissue is a little bit crispy. Having said that, one advantage is that it doesn't tear very easily, so I'm not having any problems with tearing. Let's cut inside there as well. The other thing I did off camera is at this stage, I've done the bottom, I've gone around the edges again with pure dope because it can reactivate like now, instead of trying to hope that the dope underneath through a layer of tissue will reactivate and stick it. I don't think it would, so that's why I've gone around with more dope again. Another thing I'm trying to avoid is sticking this down anywhere other than the very edge, because I don't want it to be flat on the wingtip. Okay, well, that's not too bad. It's sticking, that's the main thing. Oh, tissue 101, you don't stick it to each rib, you want it to stretch out over everything. Not sure if I mentioned that or not. I think if I stick this up, it's going to stop it from falling off so much. Let's get that turned over. There is another technique you can use if you're not happy to do this, and that's to sort of lay it on at one panel at a time. So you just cut one piece of tissue, stick that on one, work your way down that way, and you end up with lots of overlaps. And if you can do this, it's a lot, in my opinion, a lot better. Just keep working away at it. Another thing, little trick, is if you want to pull the tissue but you haven't got any anything to grip, you can always grip it with the sandpaper on a nail file and just ease it over that way. Very useful things, nail files. Just going to go down that back edge, start working my way around the edges now. Now, as this bit here is only stuck on the very leading edge, I don't want it to pull off when it tightens. So I'm going to try and come over the leading edge slightly. I'm going to try and cut so I've got a little bit more tissue actually sticking surface. And this is why you cover the bottom first. This isn't very good. This is why you cover the bottom first and then the top, and then you've got any sort of overlaps going on along the bottom. Right, you can't see this. Just going to cut not along the edge, but just, and I'm doing it jerkily to stop it snagging. Right, I'll stop there for a minute. So I've got that small overlap now, so what I'm going to do is just use a bit of dope, maybe full strength. Because if this pulls off, I've got serious problems. If I put it down like that, I can get on a nice layer of dope easily and then turn it over. I do it by hand. Yeah, I reckon if this was your standard sort of soft, I'll call it tissue, I'd have put my finger through it by now. I just hope that it tightens out okay. So if it doesn't, we got a bit of a problem. I think I might be having problems here because the tissue has got a surface on the outside and it's not letting it sink through, so I've just painted some dope along the inside to actually glue the bottom of it down. It's going now, a little bit better. A little bit better. Not brilliant. What I'll do, guys, I'll just keep working around here and I'll come back to you in a few minutes. You can see what I'm doing, just taking my time, sticking it down, working around. tissue has only got so much shrinking power, so the more wrinkles you can get out of it as you apply it, the better chance you've got of getting a nice tight finish. This is an easy way to cut the way, instead of trying to cut it in situ, cut it against the board. Another little trick you're going to do, as I'm going to give these, or try and give them a light silver wash. In other words, colour them just with a water-based acrylic. So I put on just basically a coat of water, which is going to evaporate, and hopefully it will leave a little bit of colour. If you've got any wrinkles in your tissue where it's overlapped, you can always give it a small sanding just to get rid of any little high spots. Right, final this one I can be a bit more rough with. It's my face. Okay, onward stretch. Slightly feathered edge there, just get rid of that. I've got the window open in front of me, by the way. It's a bit smelly. Okay, so there we are. It's one wing covered, and I don't know how flat it is. One of the advantages with this is because it's got struts going down, the struts will help to pull it into a fairly good shape. I think I might have stuck it down over the front of that a little bit. There we go, guys. Give that some water spray and we'll see how it tightens out. Fingers crossed it does. If you've got any areas which don't tighten out very well, by the way, it's not the end of the world, because you can always just cut that panel out and put another panel in. Okay, that's it for tonight. I'll do that other wing in the morning. not bad. So I've got ailerons, flying surfaces. Oh, I'll finish the wheels as well. There's the fin and the rudder of the wheel. Lastly, the fuselage. If you can see this, I've given it a very light coat of lacquer, matte lacquer, and it's tightened out quite nicely. I'm not going to give it any more. I will give it some more, but if I was going to put some transfers on, now's the time to do it, and then I can lacquer those in. So fuselage and top hatch. By the way, if you're going to spray, make sure you cover up your servos because they will get choked up. Same with the motor. Nice. I've moved on a little bit since the last take. I've tissued the wings and tightened them up and sprayed them with a bit of silver paint because I couldn't get the wash to stick after I'd lacquered them. So before I put lacquer over the top of the silver, I'm going to put the transfers on. Now the transfers that come with the kit are sticky back plastic. Oh, look horrible. Sorry. So I've printed some out on transfer paper, clear background. I've made them slightly smaller because I thought they were a little bit on the big side, and I'm going to apply them. This tissue didn't go on brilliantly, I've got to say. I think it was a little bit too crispy. I won't use it again. Okay, that one's okay. Wrinkly, but it will tighten out. Just let me show you what I've done to the cockpit. I've put a couple of petrol caps on the top. I've just put a windshield on with a metal frame around the bottom. I put simulated coaming around the cockpit, which is just painted on, masked and painted. So that's quite nice. All I need now is somebody to sit in the cockpit. When this is complete, I'll give the whole model a coat of clear lacquer, and then I can make some push rods up, fix the tailplane, fix the undercarriage on, connect up the aileron servos after they're threaded through. So, I mean, we're on the final stretch now, guys. Tyres are on the wheels and a little bit of CA to hold them. I've painted up the dummy cylinder heads, sort of grey silver with a bit of black. It's coming on, isn't it? I have spent a few hours on it. It's pretty much as kit, apart from the transfers and the motor. Incidentally, looking at the Model Shop Leeds website, they do stock the motor designed to go in this aeroplane. It's about, well, less than £7 for the motor and the cog. I think it had a propeller with it, and that would fit into the specially designed little fit-in that the kit comes with that I've had to modify. So it is possible to fit a motor without the plastic surround because that's what it's designed for. But if you've got a motor, say out of a Micro Aces, something like that, then you'll need to modify it a little bit as I showed you. Okay, time for catch up, guys. I've sprayed the wings with clear lacquer, matte lacquer. Transfers have come out pretty well on the wings actually, so I'm quite pleased with those. Although the tissue covering leaves a little bit to be desired. But so I'm just screwed on the undercarriage legs, and I thought before I put the wheels on, I better put the wings in, stop things rolling around. So I've just pulled the wires through, and now it's just a matter of lining up the spars. I'm wondering, you know, if I even need to glue these wings on, because if I break them, it's going to be a piece of cake to remove them, to fix them. because they're quite stiff, and the struts, the struts are going to be screwed in, they're glued in, but they're screwed at the ends, so probably doesn't need to actually be glued on. It'd be good to have a little bit of give in them. So which one goes on which side? That's the question. They go that way because the pointed bits on the screws want to point downwards. Now, the fun part of this was I've got to make a slot in the tissue covering to allow these little clamps to go in and glue onto the frame. But if I need to remove the wing, I just take those screws out and slide it out. So I think the slot has to be just about probably about there. You want to push it in from the top like this. That one's going down. I think I'll make that back one a little bit wider because I've got a double thickness of tissue on there. Last thing I want to do is to snap these little fingers, so just run this little rat tail file in there just to take off any paint or varnish. You really do need a set of rat tail files to build these little aeroplanes. Oops, goes in there. I think that's better. The other thing, of course, is the servo is just in here as well, but I did leave a gap between the servo and the main spar to get that thing to go down, that little bracket to go down. Now this just has to be gently teased down at an angle. That's going down. It's getting close. Just looking at that, I think it's got to be, I might need to ease a little bit of wood off the bottom of the strut there. Let's just give it a little bit more of a push. Like all these things, they fit when you, it's just the balsa structure, but then when you put the covering on and everything, things can change a little bit. So I just need to just take a little bit off of there. This is real icing on the cake job, isn't it? Okay, that's nice. So just need to come forward a little bit to there. I was concerned all along with the gap between this bracket and the aileron, but the aileron will come up there. That's quite a lot of throw. I very much doubt I'm going to need anywhere near that. That's about 10 millimeters. My guess is half that will be about right because it is a big aileron. But if I do need more, I can just carve a little bit off the inside of the bracket here. I can slim that down just a little bit. I reckon if I CA these in place, I won't need to glue the root onto the main spars because they grip so well, and that's such a good solid fixing that, as I say, if I break the wing, I just pop this screw out, slide the wing off. When the other wing's on, I'm probably going to glue on the tailplane. I'll be able to make sure it's all lined up nicely on the wing then. And then when that's glued in, I can get my control horn in that and the rudder and make up some push rods. I've just hand glued or CA the tailplane in place, but the fin and rudder I'm going to put in now. just extended the little lug on the fin because it only goes into the tailplane, and there is a slot that goes down into the top of the fuselage. So I've extended it just to go into the top of the fuselage, and I'm going to glue that with white glue and CA. I've also made sure the tailplane, the elevator can go up and down in the slot, which I've opened up a little bit in the back of the rudder. I've opened it up because it was tight with the tissue on and the paint. So I just put that on there. It will scrape up as it goes. And because I've only got one hinge in at the top, I can bend the rudder out to get it to go into the little hole I've just made in the tail post. So just put that in there, push it down, as it will go. Now, it's really looking like an aeroplane now, isn't it? That just slots in there like that. In fact, that goes in there so easily. I think I might pull it out, put a drop of CA on and pull it back in, because it's quite an important hinge. That's all right. Just have to make sure that gap was correct very quickly. Here's a little balsa 90 degree. Let's get a couple of blocks in there, stop it moving. Again, the blocks come out. Blocks to the rescue. Now I've got a little surprise to show you in a moment. That's nice. And I'll show you right now. Let's just lock that up again. If you take a pilot like this, which is a First World War pilot downloaded from internet for 3D printing, and you scale him right down, you end up with something that looks just like that. And paint him up, and I think you'll agree he looks pretty smashing. So let's just offer him in. Pilot makes all the difference. It weighs nothing. And here's another one I made slightly smaller just in case, but I think the slightly bigger one worked, but the weight's negligible because they're hollow. Yeah, it's really coming together. What a pretty aeroplane. Amazing how de Havilland kept this shape for the tail fin, basically. Very nice. Okay, I think it might be time to, oh yeah, let's just take that off. I was going to say I shouldn't have put it on yet, but because it comes off. I could have a look now to see where the CG is sort of sitting. I think it was 20 millimeters back from somewhere. Oh, it's going to flop about. Let's just keep that in there a minute. I think it was 20 mil back from somewhere around behind the trailing edge. That's looking tail heavy as much as I can tell. Where is the centre of gravity? The centre of gravity is currently way back, about 60%. So the plans, the instructions suggest a 150 milliamp hour battery. Here's a 260, so it weighs a little bit more, which is what you want. So I might end up having to put a bit of nose weight in as well. That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to go and find some bits and pieces to connect up the various control surfaces, so I'll be back. I'm going to put the wheels on absolutely last, I think. Oh, wheels and then propeller. Okay then guys, that's it. The model is finished, so let's just have a look at her. Cheers. I think you'll agree she looks rather splendid. I'm glad I did it in the red. I didn't have blue, but I think she looks great in the red and silver. And I've had to add 5 grams of nose weight to get the CG, which is 20 millimeters back from the leading edge. The control throws I'll show you. Control throws, I've got aileron, elevator, rudder and throttle. I think she's going to cruise around on half throttle, to be honest. I don't think she'll even need full throttle to fly. Unfortunately, we've got no indoor sessions now for quite a few months, so it's going to be a calm evening maiden flight. Let's just have a look inside. I've got the battery. I've got quite a big battery actually. It's a 260 milliamp hour. You may as well put a big battery in if you need nose weight as well. So it's a 1S. I've got it in a little tube, and that keeps it off of the servos. And 5 grams of nose weight, which is tucked in on the side of the fuselage. You probably can't see that. Just to bring the CG up. The little extras I've done were the pilot and the windshield and the 2 little petrol filler caps and a bit of cockpit combing all painted on. The transfers, I didn't use Tony's transfers because they're on white sticky back plastic, and that would have spoilt the effect. Even with white wings, they don't go down nice and flat. So I printed mine out on my laser printer using clear transfer paper. The side transfers, the numbers are there, but they're not up to my usual standard. The wings ones are, but there you go. The tissuing didn't go too well. I didn't use the supplied tissue, and well, you saw the struggle I had with it. Wasn't very porous, but it hadn't come out too bad. The control runs are just bits of bent wire here, non-adjustable. I can adjust it on the transmitter if I need to. I got some spare parts when I was playing with the little adjusters for there. Carbon push rods, which are not supplied. It gives you a bit of carbon, but that's for the undercarriage. Yeah, so she's ready for a flight. So if you want to see the maiden, hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, it's free. Why not? You've watched all the build series so far. Funnily enough, about 50% of people that watch my videos regularly don't hit the subscribe button. So if you're one of those, hit that subscribe button. If you don't like it, after a while, you can just hit unsubscribe. It's no big deal. So thanks very much for watching, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps as well. You can get your model from Model Shop Leeds, and the servo board and the motor. And they've got a great range of models. So this video is sponsored, of course, which is, you know, one of the perks of the job, you could say. You get these little free ones, but it's taken a few hours to put together. But a lovely build, laser cut, goes together beautifully. Take your time, read the instructions, they're online, and look at, as I said right at the beginning, look 2 or 3 steps ahead so you know what you're doing, what's to come, and then you can make allowances for anything. And there she is. See you up at the field for that maiden flight. Cheers guys, thanks for watching.